Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm super stoked to be here. I'm super excited to have these beautiful faces back here. Welcome to season 2 of The Nightlife, guys. We're jumping right back into our story. We're going right back to La Palabra. I know what you guys are thinking. You're thinking, Diana, you just killed off a whole bunch of hunters last week. What are you doing, you maniac? The truth is that I stumbled into the offices at Renegade Games and I've decided not to leave. I'm just going to stay here and keep telling stories in the world of darkness until they make me stop. So, couple little things before we dive right back in. This is the world of darkness. It's called that for a reason. There are themes within these games that are going to get heavy. They're going to get gory at times and maybe might be a little bit much for some people. We as a group have discussed our safety tools backstage, and we know what lines we're okay to cross and what lines we need to hold back on. If you, the viewers, find yourself in a position where you are uncomfortable with what is happening, please step away, take that time for yourself and do what you have to do to feel comfortable here. That is, after all, the whole point. We want you to enjoy this. Second piece is you might notice that one of our coterie is not here tonight. He will be joining us. We just decided to have ladies' night at La Palabra, but Gabe Louvier, our beautiful Toreador, will be coming back to rejoin the cast. He's just off on an errand right now, so don't worry about that. We'll see plenty more of him later. Before we slip into our recap and talk about a couple of things that maybe happened in season 1 that we should all be aware of going into season 2. I'd love for you all to meet my beautiful cast. Let's start with Nora. Nora, who are you? What do you do? And who are you playing tonight?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nora Ibrahim. You can find me everywhere at Noralogical. I am a nerd who plays nerdy games with nerdy friends. And tonight I play Carmina Magnus, who is a Ventru hotel owner and totally, fine with what happened to Peter, maybe? What did happen to Peter?
Wow. Did you just forget his name? Because my heart.
What was his name? What's his face? He wore a lot of socks and sandals.
And Carmina got attacked by a werewolf, and we don't see her anymore.
How dare you speak about your boyfriend that way?
Wow. Love story of the century.
I know.
For all time.
Amazing. Thank you so much. What about you, Sin? Tell us about you. Spin me a yarn.
Spin you a yarn. Great. Yes. Hi, I'm Cynthia Marie. I'm TTRPG enthusiast. I play a lot of games, and tonight I'm going to be playing Reina de la Vega, your starry, spacey Tremere. Very excited to come back and play her.
We love her. We love her lots. Last but certainly not least, the Wielder of Shadows. Jen, who are you and who are you playing tonight?
Hello, I am Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamLisp. You can find me on Twitch streaming as DreamLisp Jen. I do a bunch of different things. I am playing Giselle de la Scala, your friendly neighborhood La Sombra, less than friendly. Not so neighborhood.
Friendly is not a word I would use.
None of that is actually applicable.
Yeah.
She is sunshine and rainbows. How dare.
Completely covered in shadows, cruelty, and maybe a little bit of blood. But I'm happy to be back and rolling dice with these wonderful people.
Yay! And I'm your storyteller tonight. My name is Diana D'Amico. I do a lot of stuff here with Renegade. I love telling stories in the world of darkness. I really love the content that's been getting released. And I'm just happy to be here, guys. Just happy to be here. With that in mind, let's talk about where we left off in season 1, because it's been, I think we were just talking about it, it's been about a year since we were with this coterie. So, for those of you just joining us, our coterie runs a nightclub in Miami called La Palabra. It's a cool kind of old school establishment, very well established, right on the Miami Strip outside of Little Havana. They had a working relationship with each other. Carmina, our hotel magnate here, has a hotel that's adjacent and actually connected to La Palabra. So she was around a lot, and she and Reina de la Vega were very close friends. You know, a lot of stuff happened in season 1, but where we left off, the coterie had just committed diablerie against an elder, Maceo, the original owner of La Palabra, who returned. They also diablerized Isadora, their property manager. That wasn't great. They embraced the bar manager. So that was a good thing. They kind of formed an alliance with Fiasco, a gangrel gang leader who sold drugs so that he could support immigrants coming in from Cuba. Carmina agreed to house some of the children that were coming in the hotel to make sure that they were safe and cared for while they were naturalized into the U.S. Let's see, what else? You know, there was that moment where Reina killed a health inspector. That was a cool thing that happened. Barney Baltus was sent down to La Palabra by the mayor himself to inspect the premises and make sure that things were up to code. They weren't, spoilers. And rather than just pay a fine and wash the dishes, Reina was like, I'm going to kill you and throw your body in a dumpster. So that's the solution we went with here. Look, I hold nothing against you. Miami Police Department might. Oh, and then you guys committed, well, before this, you guys committed arson. You killed Isaac Meadows in his apartment and then burned down the building. That happened too.
Pretty risky.
Yeah.
For us to.
It wasn't your best move, not the most covert, especially because you know that a lot of witnesses were around for that and the diableries too. So a couple loose ends maybe from season 1 that we're going to tie up.
It got rid of evidence, created lots of new evidence,
and we punched an alligator.
Yes, you did. Right.
And had a record exchange going.
An alligator. Yes. You met my favorite Nos, Percival, who loves British invasion music and lives in the sewers beneath Miami.
That's right.
I think that was all like the major points. Did I miss anything, guys?
Did we want to talk about Peter or no?
We don't talk about Peter.
I'm just checking.
I tear up every time Peter comes up. So, all right. Well, if that's it, we're going to dive right in.
We talked about the mayor.
The mayor, yes. So the mayor recently embraced, was trying to find sort of a safe haven, a good business relationship that he could strike up to make sure that his needs were met covertly and discreetly. He sent his cronies down to meet with Carmina, which was not a great choice.
Yeah.
Luckily, Giselle just happens to be pretty tied into a lot of the key members of the leadership in Miami. So if we need something from the mayor, chances are good we'll be able to get it. Even if it's just for him to bring his ass down to La Palabra so that Carmina can tell him off herself.
And weren't a couple of them, were they kindred that we, or
there were some vibes.
Mm-hmm.
There were some vibes.
And definitely the mayor himself is a recently embraced friend. Also, we had that conversation with Sid. Someone's trying to expose, to unmask Kindred.
Sort of. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we set some things loose downtown.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Just, like you do.
Oh boy, this coterie, you guys.
disaster coterie. Big deal. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine. So, if you were walking through the streets of the club district just outside of Little Havana, you'd see people in miniskirts, people in board shorts, people in business suits, as different groups converge onto the streets to take part in the festivities that make Miami noteworthy. As the sun dips down below the horizon, the reds and oranges in the sky give way to inky blues and purples. Though many will be drawn to the larger clubs in the warehouse district bumping house music, some will make their way to the more intimate locations on the Miami Strip. It's a plain-looking building from the outside. Aged white stucco, oak doors with porthole windows. A wooden sign hangs above the door with the name La Palabra in painted script. This is where the restless souls of Miami seem to end up when the sun has set and the nightlife awakens. The club looks much the same as it did 8 weeks ago. A dance floor and a simple stage off to one side, a long bar covered in scuffs, as well as several high-top tables to the other. 2 doors are easy to spot. One, leading to a hallway that contains the bathrooms, the storeroom, and an office. The other, a sleek black door leading to a plush sitting room that connects the club to the hotel, to the Magnus Hotel. One might make notice of the freshly plastered portion of the wall with the color looking slightly different. But you'd never know why. After all, you weren't there. You weren't there when Maceo Romero, the original owner of La Palabra, awakened from a century-long torpor and emerged from his plaster tomb to eviscerate an unsuspecting mortal by the name of Peter Mayhew. You weren't there when 2 of the apex predators in Miami were fed upon by their own kind, their only legacy being the sated hunger of the monsters who call La Palabra home, and the danger their absence might bring. It's quiet in the club right now. Bastien, the gorgeous bald man behind the bar, idly flips through a Vogue magazine. The space beside him, normally taken up by a chattering Aleja, is currently empty. Giselle, if we were to look at you, what would we see?
A young woman, mid-20s maybe, a short, wavy, it's got almost like a 30s style to it, but it still is modern. Teal bob, dark clothes, sort of intermittent. They're clearly high-end clothes, but it's got some edge to it. Very pale skin, very, very light eyes, and a bit of a glare for anyone who comes near.
So, Giselle, if we think back to 8 weeks ago, it was actually you who embraced Aleja. What were those first few days like with her, I wonder?
There was a bit of testing her out, keeping her on a short leash, but seeing what she was trying to do, letting her push the boundaries a little bit as she oriented to her new circumstances.
She was no stranger to the world of kindred, but it's one of those things you kind of have to experience firsthand to really
Knowing
get
it
a
intellectually
grasp
is
on it.
not the same.
Did you ever tell her about Isadora?
I think I told her that she died in the chaos of the fight.
But you would never admit that you were the one.
No.
Of course not. Well, it's been 8 weeks since that event. She doesn't seem to have been any the wiser before she disappeared. But what have you been spending your time on, I wonder?
Now that Maceo's not a threat, I can figure out exactly how far his reach went, see where those threads went, now that there's no one kind of erasing those pathways. Tracing through the law firm, finding out more about what they have control over and what they know, things that were still being kept from us.
How would you be digging?
I know a few of the secretaries. I know a few of the up-and-comers who are, gunning for partner, aren't there yet.
Well, there's clearly a vacancy now. Go ahead and roll me just to see how much you figure out. Mm-hmm. Let's do intelligence and investigation.
So it's 2 successes.
Okay. Bless their hearts. The secretaries are not, they're not digging deep enough. They can't go back far enough. Everything that you seem to be able to find on Maceo is dated. It's stale information. You see that it gets kind of updated, checked in on every 2 or 3 years in the course of that file existing on La Palabra and Maceo. But it just says status same. There's nothing beyond that. Now, you are able to ascertain that because it's something that's constantly being checked up on, even though there's no change happening, someone of import cared about this. Someone wanted to keep tabs on La Palabra while Maceo wasn't around.
Is there any threads there?
None that stand out to you immediately. But I would assume that Giselle, being the practical woman she is, she probably just said, let me know if anything changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also want to keep an eye on the top candidates for that partnership.
Okay. See who finishes second. All right. Reina. You have your private room upstairs in La Palabra. Mm-hmm. Is that where we would find you now?
Probably flitted in there a couple of minutes ago, but honestly, I think Reina probably spent a lot of time doing research out at her shop area, her Santeria shops.
Okay. We'll say for the sake of continuity that you did just kind of like sweep into the room and in a flurry of activity head up to your sanctum. If we were to take a look at Reina right now, what would we see?
So Reina's probably in a crisp white suit that had a short cape behind her. But instead of her normal kind of platinum ombre locks, her hair is actually all pulled up into a hair wrap adorned with a bunch of different flowers that kind of just drape beautifully around and frame kind of her face. She's wearing a ton of wooded beaded jewelry and probably some oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? Rosary. There we go.
Okay.
Around her, she has a bunch of wooden bracelets and a big hoop earrings. So Yeah, she looks a lot like a Santeria priestess at this point.
Wonderful. Even though you've kept up on your research and your practice, and you are still developing your unique set of skills, shall we say, getting your practice in, Karna hasn't made contact with you since everything went off the rails that night. Do you think she knows that you dispatched Maseo as she requested?
Oh, I'm pretty sure she knows. Yes. Very much so. She knows everything somehow.
How would you feel about the fact that she hasn't contacted you since then?
I feel that it is a deserved punishment if I did not satisfy her wishes, if you will. So I am taking it in internally and doing the best that I can to be a better disciple to her.
And that's a blow for Reyna, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you think anyone would notice that change in her, that almost self-flagellation that's going on?
Probably. Anybody who's super close with her, yeah, would see it.
Okay. What have you been up to since everything went down?
Threw myself into research. I have never diablerized anyone ever. I don't know what that is supposed to do to me. So I threw myself into as much research as possible to find out what happened.
Shoot first, ask questions later. That's a good methodology.
You know?
It's not. That was sarcastic, guys. Wonderful. Anything in particular you would be looking to find out?
I think just trying to find maybe any kindred tomes that may be around that may have documented anything about a kindred life, particularly diablerie and what happens to someone.
Okay, go ahead and roll me intelligence, and I think this is investigation instead of occult because it's still taboo, even for you.
2 successes.
Okay. You do find lots of mention of diablerie, but none of it is positive. You find a lot of secondhand accounts where there's a lot of mentions of people being haunted by those that they've diablerized. Seeing them, hearing them, literally being 2 souls in the same body afterwards.
That can't be great.
It wears on you a little bit as you continue to read because you haven't felt Maseo. You feel something, a slight thrum of power maybe, but if he's in there, he hasn't said anything yet. And if that asshole isn't talking, he's planning.
That's great. Could I while I'm in the room, can I do my own reading, fortune, or trying to see the future here?
Sure. Do the thing.
Oh man, I haven't done the thing in a minute. What do I roll?
I know. I can't even remember what this power is called, if I'm being honest with you right now.
Premonition, really. Probably what I'm asking for. So Auspex. Which I think is Wits and Auspex.
Do it.
Oh, that is a blood die. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 successes. 4 successes. What does it look like as Raina kind of falls into this trance that she does?
I think there's some candles that she kind of lights, puts a little bit of incense on. There's a shell in front of her that has she kind of like knocks in some seawater to give to her goddess, and she kind of closes her eyes a little bit, and it just looks like she's kind of like taking a nap almost, but sitting straight up. And she's like kind of just gonna be like flipping cards, kind of reading what's going on.
Okay. Like usual, you can actually kind of do the reading without opening your eyes. You know what you're flipping as you're turning over the cards, and the images kind of converge and dance behind your eyelids. And what you see for you, an image solidifies of a mirror. Your reflection on the other side is shadowed, but you get a sense of fear from it. There's something wrong with that version of you. There's something wrong with it. It shouldn't exist. It's not real. It's not the real Raina. And an image of the hanged man flashes across your mind. The mirror in your vision shatters and your eyes flutter open. And you see that you did, in fact, flip the hanged man as your final card for this reading.
Something stalled.
Carmina. It's about 8 o'clock at night at this point. Where would Carmina be? Attending to business, no doubt, but where would she be?
Carmina still has a hotel to run.
Yes.
So in all of this, she's kind of been laying low, but it's business as usual. At this point, in the few weeks that have gone by, she has taken her extra time to make sure that those children that were housed in her hotel are being properly taken care of, without anybody knowing, of course, because people, I can have people thinking I actually have a heart. But these, there's been one of the main ballrooms has been turned into like an indoor playground. She's had private tutors come in. They've been receiving proper medical care the whole time and just making sure that they're happy where they are for now, circumstances being what they are. So that's what she's been doing in her free time, but then also checking into the legal paper trail of La Palabra and trying to do a research in that way, because things are kind of, business with Kindred has a tendency to be concealed, but money trails don't lie. So she's looking into what she could piece together from her legal team.
Okay. And as we see Carmina kind of poring over this research that's been presented to her, what does Carmina look like?
Carmina is a very tall, leggy blonde. She's got long platinum, like a long bob platinum straight hair, blue eyes. It is Miami, but the sun does not agree with her, for obvious reasons. So there's some spray tan going on to keep up appearances in this city. She's always dressed to kill. So tonight she has on a lace red mini dress with stiletto heels.
Of course.
Of course.
Wonderful. Why don't you go ahead and roll me another? Let's do intelligence investigation for everybody to figure out what it is that you found when you were looking into the law firm and La Palabra.
Sounds good. Oh, no, 2 successes.
You don't find
around.
Yeah, I guess that's just where we're at tonight, guys. You don't find a ton in this research. You find a lot of emails and pieces of note that are Isadora making promises to people that you know for a fact there's no way she could have delivered on them. She had no business considering herself your equal. You're able to find that the deed for La Palabra is currently held by the MMR law firm. But right now, there's no custodian. So you do find a note on the file because Isadora had been taking care of everything. So you do find a note on the file that it is slated for discussion at the next board meeting. What will happen to the building, whose care it will reside under, and who ultimately you all will kind of have to answer to in a way. I imagine La Palabra isn't busy right now, but there are people there. There is dancing going on. The live band is always a big hit, so they're playing. It's not the same, though. There's something heavy in the air with Aleja gone, with Louvier missing, with everyone jovial not being around. Giselle, you like to keep an eye on the floor when people are actually here. It is, after all, through observation of the human race that you gain your best insights. Would you be maybe sitting over by the bar talking to Bastien? Or would you be at your table by yourself? Where physically would you be in La Palabra?
I usually am over near the VIP section.
Okay.
That's usually my home base, is sort of between the bar and the VIP section.
Okay.
To make sure that everyone in that area has what they need.
Sure. It's a Thursday night. It's not super busy here right now. You know it'll pick up later on, but all things considered, the place is relatively empty. Bastien will come over and bring you your signature drink, which was it was something retro, was it not?
Actually would, no, I don't have that there. That's not. That's a very specific situation thing. So
then Bastien would be bussing the table since there's literally no one else to do it right now. And he would kind of begrudgingly walk around and pick up glasses and put them on a tray. And eventually he'll stop beside where you are. Knowing that you're the one that kind of takes care of things. Bastien will say, Are we hiring someone to pick up the slack around here? I can't keep doing this by myself.
I mean, that seems like a Carmina problem.
Well, it's not, because this isn't her bar. We need a manager, Giselle. I can't do it. I just got my nails done. The magazine needs reading. You know that I'm not organized enough for this. Come on.
Okay, I'll talk to Carmina. We'll figure something out. It's fine.
You know, we wouldn't be in this situation if you hadn't run off your little baby vampire. It's true.
What would you like me to have done?
I don't know. Maybe not scared the bejesus out of her.
She needs to be able to survive.
Look, you're terrifying. I don't know if you realize this. I don't think anyone's ever actually told it to you. You're scary as all hell.
Thank you.
Not great for like onboarding of more of us.
Yet you just asked me to go do the hiring.
Yeah, because I don't want to do it. Look, I don't even have Luvi to help me. He went off looking for it.
Have you called him? I know you're still in your feelings about things, but
look, he missed out on the best night of his life. That's his burden to bear, not mine. I don't know. He was just going to go talk to Percival, and it's been 3 days. Like, he isn't picking up his phone. Do I just go look for him? Because then you have to man the bar.
Or you could keep manning the bar. We could go look for him.
Please. My hands are pruning. Look, it's really gross.
Call in one of the other bartenders from one of the other bars. We'll figure out how to pay them. It'll be fine. Just get someone who you can tolerate.
Fine, I'll try, but you know none of those bitches like me. And he'll turn around and walk back to the bar. Raina, I imagine this is like, I imagine the VIP section sort of right below where you do your business upstairs. You would have heard some of, like, not clearly, but you would have heard some of the irritation going on downstairs.
I'm a pop downstairs. Everything okay?
Bastian's being cranky.
Manicure messed up?
Yes.
I see.
Complaining about too much work, something. I don't know. And that we don't have enough staff.
Well, have we talked to Carmina about that?
That's what I said.
Okay. Has anyone seen Carmina lately?
No.
Okay. Where did Bastian run off
You're the
to?
one who's besties. Apparently to go see Percival, but I don't know. They're having their little lovers tiff, but they haven't, like, Bastian hasn't heard from Luvi in 3 days. Since
That's normal for Luvi, right?
Yeah, I don't know why Bastian's so concerned, but I said I'd go look into it, so maybe we go look into it.
Okay, whatever you guys want to do.
But why don't you try texting Luvi and calling Carmina? I don't know. Phones.
When you say that, you literally turn around and I'm there.
Oh. Or you could just show up.
Everything all right?
We have to hire people.
There's no one in here.
Talk to Bastian, who's throwing a fit.
I do walk over to Bastian.
Are you going to help me tend bar?
Oh, honey, no. No.
No, just, it's okay. Just help me out. Wash a couple dishes. It'll be...
I'm going to pretend you didn't just say that to me.
Okay, look, I don't really wash them, though. I just kind of, like, pour water on him and leave him be. Aleja used to wash all the dishes and now she's not around and I don't want to do it. So.
Oh, you don't want to do the job that you're hired to do. Are you telling me you're not capable of doing your job at the moment?
I'm perfectly capable, but I don't want to.
Oh, you know what? I don't think that's part of your job description. Bitching about the job that you're hired to do.
You can't fire me. You're not Aleja. So.
Didn't say I was going to fire you. I'm just saying it's very bad work ethic.
Yeah, I'm not like you. I don't really care about my professional success.
Wow. Okay. So you're saying that you don't care about actually working here in the future.
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I meet a lot of wonderful people here.
Do you? So you enjoy working here?
Sometimes, I suppose.
Sometimes, you suppose. Okay. Because if you don't enjoy your job and you don't want to do the job that you're being hired to do, what I'm hearing is that you don't want to work here anymore. Are we on the same page here? Am I reading this wrong?
I want to be here and I like getting paid, but I don't want to work. Is that what you're saying? Because then I think we're saying the same thing.
No, I'm going to need to see that you actually want to work here, because if you don't, you don't have to.
Listen, Carmina. And then immediately, Bastian's whole head just like whips to the right towards the doors, which you hear them open. And Carmina, as you turn to face whatever has startled Bastien, all three of you would see before you a strong, well-built young man in a sharp, tailored sharkskin suit. He's got caring eyes and sort of sandy blonde hair and very handsome and familiar. The only thing that's missing is the puka shell necklace. Carmina, you are standing face to face with Peter?
No, that can't be right.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Welcome.
Oh, hi. I'm Antonio Mayhew, and you can see that the man has two police officers behind him. Are you one of the owners here?
No.
Well, can you point me in that direction? I have a little bit of official business I kind of need to clear up.
Would you excuse me for a moment as I huddle in the rest of the gang?
Giselle and Rada, you see this too.
Oh yeah, booking it with Carmina there.
When did Peter get style? And also, he was
so too.
Okay, what are we gonna do about the police officers?
So
also that.
What do they? Who are they and what do they want?
Well, they're looking for the owners.
I mean, we've got a running list of things. It's possible it could be all of the things.
Ladies, I can see you kind of gesturing wildly. I promise if you just will only be a few minutes.
You came in during a disagreement. It was in the thick of things.
I'm sorry if I've offended you in some way.
Give us 5 minutes, please.
Oh, okay. All
Middle of argument.
You can see shaken. He kind of steps back and even the police officers sort of shuffle backwards a little bit and they all pretend to admire the architecture and the stucco on the walls.
Okay, seriously, what the hell do we do?
I mean, it's your call, Carmina. What? We'll stand behind whatever you want to do.
I mean, they're asking for the owners. We're not the owners. We don't know where the owners are, but we're here.
Tell the truth. We don't know.
Okay.
I mean, if worst case scenario, we could just take them.
Yeah. We could.
It's not the best option. I know. Not the best option. But we could run.
It is episode 1, and you were talking about murdering 3 people, including 2 police officers, in your semi-busy nightclub. We're off to a bang here.
I mean, I didn't say murder.
Start last time with a hanging off of the ceiling situation.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah. Let's just see what they want.
Lead the way. I am behind you, Carmina.
I activate awe. Can we help you?
Yes. So I'm sorry, a little flustered now. My name is Antonio Mayhew. I am an attorney for the state. We're here about Bernie Boltus. He's a health inspector.
I mean, health inspectors show up at their appointed time, but we're not on first name base. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
did he have, like, was it food poisoning? Like, is it that the problem was the...
We've passed all of our health inspections.
That's what I thought.
Well, this isn't about the health inspection. Barney was murdered. Did you guys really not see this on the news? It was headlines for days, but his last known appointment was here. We have a tip about who we think did it. Like, we have a suspect, but I got to do my due diligence. And my brother actually used to come here fairly often. He talked about
is his name Peter?
Yes. So are you Carmina?
Oh, no. That beautiful person is right here.
Oh, I should have known. He talked about you a lot.
Did he?
Yeah. Anyway, they're here to just take a look around. I mean, we know it was that woman down at Blue Bayou. We got a call about it, but we just want to make sure that there wasn't anything, left behind in an alley or somewhere. Do you mind if they kind of just look around a little bit?
Carmina has, in this time, definitely had cleanup crews.
Oh, yeah.
Left and right. So, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Sure. Gentlemen, and he's going to kind of wave to the 2 officers who will set off about the club. And you can see that they're genuinely enjoying themselves. They're kind of looking around. You can see one guy's kind of bobbing his head to the music. And
can we offer you a drink while you look around?
No, thanks. I don't actually drink, but there is something else that you guys could help me with if you have a minute. I don't want to interrupt another argument. I haven't heard from Peter in a little while. Have any of you seen him?
No, come to think of it.
Speaking of fights.
What do you mean?
Well, last I saw Peter, he was storming off in a huff.
Did you guys break up or something, Carmina?
We were never dating.
He had a ring picked out at what? Are you sure?
Positive. In fact, he might not be around here because I was in the process of getting a restraining order against him because he was being kind of stalkery, to be honest. I know he's your brother and I know this is going to be hard to hear, but it was overstepping his boundaries. And I think that I had told him that about the restraining order, and I think that probably scared him off.
Out of curiosity, what did he pick out ring-wise?
Really? Just curious.
Oh, I mean, God. it was, I don't know how to describe it. It had a really big diamond in the middle, and then kind of
was the one with the Mickey Mouse ears.
No. He gave that one to my mom for her birthday last year. Oh. This one had clusters on the sides. Is the Mickey... That doesn't sound very tasteful. I mean, are you sure you haven't seen him? It's been almost 2 months. It's not like him to not answer me. And no offense, Miss Carmina, Miss... Magnus. He's kind of a hopeless romantic. It doesn't seem like he'd give up on a gorgeous gal like you that easily.
Well, when a legal restraining order is in place, I would hope that it does.
Well, it's not, because I would know about that.
He was not... The last time we saw him, things had not gone well between those two. Big fight. He was storming off. I would not expect him to come around here again anytime soon.
I'm also pretty sure that the diamond was too small for Carmina. Not a factor.
The diamond was too small.
I am sorry to have interrupted your evening, ladies. The police officers will just be a little bit longer.
So you're a state's attorney. What's a state's attorney doing investigating?
Oh, well,
a crime like this. Like, that's not where attorneys aren't usually.
It's not. I came down here because
that seems against protocol.
Well, it's not against protocol for me to come to a club, and I happen to hear everyone talking about Barney Baltus and trying to figure out what happened, and I'm the one who's prosecuting that case, and so it just seemed like a nice dovetail to try and figure out where Peter is. Well, I'm really sorry to have bothered you guys. It's probably nothing. I'll have his phone records in a couple days anyway, so we shouldn't need to worry about it. But I will take that drink now. If you're still offering.
Sure. And I motion towards Bastien to whatever you'd like. It's on the house.
Bastien audibly sighs behind the bar and kind of just like pulls over sort of a smudged glass. He wasn't lying, Carmina. He hasn't been cleaning jack shit. And you'll see him sort of just like pour whatever bottle is closest into that cup and slide it towards Antonio.
You know, in this instance, I'm not mad at it.
That's so generous of you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Like I said, the officers will just be another minute and then we'll be on our way. Have a good night.
So, state's attorney, where did you go to law school?
Well, the University of Miami.
What year did you graduate?
A while ago now. Or are you a lawyer?
No. Just always interested in people's backgrounds.
Oh, well, you know, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. My dad's a lawyer. I'm sure you guys knew Peter was going to be a lawyer. It's kind of just a family business. And yeah, I decided I wanted to put the bad guys behind bars. And so I took this job for the state. And now I'm here. That's really it.
A thrilling tale. Is there anything else we can do for you?
Would you have dropped at any point here, or is it still up?
Oh, it's still up.
A look crosses his face that is somewhere between confusion and arousal as he's standing there, just kind of like not quite getting why he feels this way.
Confrousal.
Yeah. Confrousal. Oh, man. I love TTRPGs. And he'll kind of just like sit down at the bar and sort of spin the stool to angle away from you so that you know you don't have to talk to him anymore.
I'm just slowly backing away.
I go to tap him on the shoulder real quick and just whisper in his ear, she'll never be your type. Good luck.
Oh,
she's the other way around. You will never be her type. That's what I meant to say. Backwards.
Oh no, to be honest with you, I've always loved blue hair. So.
Oh.
She's really intense. Does she usually ask people a lot of personal questions like that?
Absolutely.
Oh.
She loves a good interrogation.
Well, that's not exactly what was happening here. I'm sure you can tell tact with ladies really runs in the family.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, I am a professional matchmaker, so here's my card. Should you need anything, let me know. Good luck. And I flit off and walk with the girls.
Would Giselle hang out or would Giselle leave?
He's got potential value to us. I might stick around.
Okay.
State's attorney who's got all the intel on the cases. This is not someone we necessarily like. This is a person who is, unlike Peter, is useful to us.
Wow. Cold-hearted. Love it.
In an alternate universe, Peter Mayhew became a hunter and came back to La Palabra and just laid waste to everything. But in this universe, he's dead, so it doesn't matter. He'll kind of sit and nervously sip at the vermouth that Bastien poured for him, not wanting to be rude as he's sitting there. And, Giselle, if you engage him in conversation for every question that you ask him, that's just sort of broad about where he went to law school or what did he enjoy studying in college or did he play any sports, that kind of stuff, he's going to ask you the exact same question back.
And all of those questions, the answer is no, I didn't go to law school. No, I didn't play sports in college. So he's not getting too much out of me there.
He'll try and draw really long-winded conclusions though. But you asked about sports, so you must kind of like athletes then, right? That whole thing.
I'm gonna let him run with those things.
Okay.
I'm gonna let him. He can make his own. He can,
Do you flirt with him at all?
Just enough to keep him interested.
Okay. That's fair. The police officers will spend maybe 15 minutes or so looking around the premises. Is there anywhere where Carmina and Reina, you would try and prevent them from going?
Well, they don't have a warrant to search. So they could search the general areas that any person to the public could wander off, but any private areas, any offices are
also they're here during business hours, which means strict no photos policy.
That's true. Okay.
In case that becomes relevant.
So, Carmina, if they were to go back through the hallway where there's the exit door that actually leads to the alley where Barney's body was dumped, you would prevent them from going into the office that's back there?
Of course.
Okay. He doesn't put up a fight when you stop him. He saw the way that you talked to Antonio and he wants none of that. So he'll just kind of tip his hat to you and turn and walk back out to the main lobby. And it only takes maybe 15 minutes for them to do their preliminary search and then rejoin him at the bar. And they'll kind of gesture that they're good to go. And Antonio will turn to you, Giselle, and just kind of say, well, we're heading out, but do you have a card? Just in case I could use some professional advice.
I mean, you can find me here most of the time. Why don't you give me yours instead?
He will.
Office address.
He'll kind of pat down his suit pockets and pull out a business card. And you'll actually see him kind of grab a pen out of that pocket. And he's like, okay, so I'm going to write my cell phone number at the bottom. If you need anything, feel free to call that. I'm out of my office a lot. So, and he'll sort of slide it across the bar to you.
I hate technology, don't you? It's just so gauche.
Yeah. I wish people would like stop looking at their cell phones and just talk, have a conversation at dinner.
Why don't you just tell me where I can find you?
Well, that seems a little weird. My office is in, he'll name a business complex downtown, which I don't have prepared because I did not do this. So
don't worry about it. We can get it later.
That's where you can find
his
him.
Office address.
Yeah, you do. And he'll kind of get up and give a little wave to Raina on the way out the door, and he'll start to wave at Carmina if she's back out in the public area, and then think better of it and leave.
Best of luck with your investigation, and I hope you find your brother.
Thank you. The bar is once again kind of returned to its normal state. Except now Bastien is grinning behind the counter. Miss Carmina, I've changed my mind. I do like working here. I do enjoy my job because sometimes I get to witness things like that.
Hooray for you. Whatever makes you happy, just do your job, please.
You're not the boss of me. And he'll go back to like pretending to clean a glass, but really he's got like a grubby bar rag that he's just sort of wiping on the outside before he puts it back on the shelf.
Gross.
Yeah, I can't handle that. I get behind the bar and I wash the dishes because I just like, no, I can't do this.
Okay.
Carmina, do you have anyone at the hotel who can take a couple of shifts? Just so we don't get shut down by the health department when they come back inevitably again.
I'll find out, but I'm sure there is. And I'm sure somebody would happily replace you.
You'd like to try, wouldn't you?
Oh my God, can we not instigate this? For the record, Carmina will kick your ass. So just stop.
She'd like to try. Just because I won't fight Luby.
Clean glasses are the bare minimum here. Bare minimum of what we're asking you to do.
Okay, well, the maximum is usually murders or some shit. So the job description was a little bit freeform.
Do you want out?
No, I just don't want to wash dishes. I don't understand. All three of you are very...
I'm washing the dishes.
Thank you for pitching in and doing your part, Raina. Man.
Raina has a job and doesn't have to sit here and do yours.
She can tell fortunes while she washes dishes. I don't really see what the problem is.
I see a big problem here, and I see that problem in your attitude.
Can we just get Aleja back? Because really, she understands better what my limitations are.
Oh. Fantastic. Well, we'll work on getting you another helping hand.
Thank you. That's all I ask.
Literally just a helping hand.
Oh, okay.
That's it? Just a helping hand?
Yeah.
We could produce one of those. That's easy. I go back to cleaning the...
Not like that. Not like that. I don't want that.
Be careful what you wish for.
Bastien, who usually remains very composed and enjoys these little verbal spars with Carmina as much as I'm sure she does. Everyone roll me, let's say, charisma insight.
Little better. 3 successes.
Okay.
Same.
5. Raina, you can tell that Bastien slipped there. He lost his composure when you started talking about your crazy Tremere shit. And just kind of like lost it for a second and then put the wall back up and became Bastien once again. But you know that terrified him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I go up to Bastion. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. If that's what that came across as.
No, I'm fine. I think they need bussing at that table over there, and he'll kind of just like leave from behind the bar and go to deal with customers.
Look at that initiative.
No one ever wants to talk to me. I see how it is. That's fine. Okay, cool, great.
So,
And I'm going to go over to Carmina. So we're sure that whole situation was cleaned up?
As far as I know, it's been weeks. What are they going to find now?
That's what I'm asking you.
Listen, as long as you give new Peter, keep him preoccupied.
At least mine knows how to dress.
First of all, Peter was not mine, but
Mm-hmm.
I will give you that. He is a much better dresser.
I don't know. I kind of like the puka shells. I kind of like walk out.
So, sorry. This is the first investigation that you all know has been done into Barney's disappearance. If you all recall, the 2 aides that had come with him to assist and to learn from him, the 2 younger folks from his office were compelled to go back to they were cloud memoried and sent on their way. You tied up all your loose ends. So it feels strange that now, 8 weeks after the fact, 2 months, people are snooping around again.
So they mentioned a woman at the Blue Bayou as the suspect. Have we heard anything about that through the grapevine? Through our various contacts and resources? And
who would you have contacted?
Percival, maybe?
Well, so Luvi went to go see Percival.
Oh, right.
So Luvi's on the way to Percival or went to see Percival 3 days ago. So Luvi is on the Percival track, but I'm thinking that's going to be the nightclub scene, right? That's going to be the bars and nightclub scene?
Potentially. It's interesting, though. Carmina, you're used to a pretty steady stream of information from Percival about specific individuals that you're watching for your own reasons, right? He has eyes everywhere. It's good to have those eyes on your side. You did stop receiving some of that information, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, this has happened before. You just assumed that it was probably Percival getting distracted by another big job, or maybe they cleaned out the sewers and he had to relocate again. That's always a pain in the ass for him. But it is strange that you haven't seen the goals lately.
Oh, yeah. Have you guys seen them around? Should
we?
Weird. It just hasn't been. They've never been away for this long at of a time period, have they?
I mean, there have been periods over the years, but you had noticed after the night, it felt like they were around almost every day. They were watching you, specifically watching you all to see what happened and to see what you would do. It became second nature to just hear the goals outside the front of La Palabra clawing away at strange hours of the night. But it's been silent lately.
This is either really good or really bad.
I'm gonna go with bad.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of bad, quick question. After that whole night we had out, by any chance, have you heard any talking in your head? By any chance, anyone?
What?
Okay. Great. Okay, cool. Yeah, I read somewhere that when you you know what, never mind. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I'll explain that later.
No, should we be? Are you okay?
I'm fine. You know what? How about, can we go into like your office or my sanctuary? Either way, somewhere that's just not public. That'd probably be great.
That's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Great. What's the closest? Her office or my sanctuary upstairs? I'm assuming my sanctuary because her office is probably like hella high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
It'll be. I thought you were talking about the club office, but yes, your room is way closer than Carmina's office.
Okay,
you got that penthouse life going on.
Wherever you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, let's just go to my little sanctuary. Have a seat for a second, chill out. Come.
Right.
Like walk up the stairs and get to where I need to go. Sit down at my table and start flipping cards because I'm hella nervous to talk about this. Not making a whole lot of eye contact.
What does this room look like?
Oh yeah. So it's if you can imagine walking into almost like a small like black box theater. That's because what I'm used to. There's a table in the center that has kind of like satin drapery, depending on what season or something like that. It usually kind of correlates. So probably hot summer by this point. So it's like a nice fiery red with some like chiffon over it. There's chiffon kind of like thrown all over the place. There's candles hanging and you can't really tell how they're hanging. In fact, they almost look like they're floating around. But if you look hard enough, there's like fish lines and stuff like that, you know. So it's classy in there, but it has a little bit of like spooky magic in it. And then yeah, the cards are laid out in front. Yeah, so
voices.
Right. Yeah. So there is a thing that I was reading about. It starts with a D. Diablerie. Diablerie. Right. Yes. And that happens when you end up taking too much blood from one of our own, another kindred, and not just to, you know, take the blood because you want the blood, or even try to embrace anybody out of it. It's just like when what we did is not a good thing, evidently.
And this is the first time that you all have really discussed this. It's just kind of been ignored, pushed under the rug, shoved aside the past 2 months.
So, how long have you been hearing voices?
Oh, me? Voices? I mean, I can hear voices, but not the voice that I thought I was going to hear.
Oh.
Which is also why it leads me to when I said bad, because it's bad, because it should be the person that we took out. And the person that we took out is normally a plotter, not a talker.
Carmina and Giselle, roll me your wits and Wits and awareness.
Four successes.
Five. Okay. The two of you, I will leave it up to you if you've heard this term thrown around before, but it's not something that comes up often. You know that when it is spoken about, it's spoken about in reverent tones, very hushed. Giselle, you would probably know that, no, you wouldn't know that. Carmina, you would have heard the term before. I'll leave it up to you whether you know what it means, but you've heard it before. It was something that your father had mumbled about at some point, back when he still talked a little bit more. But you've definitely heard it.
All I know is it's not like the best thing to do, or I guess it's like frowned upon or a social faux pas. Not exactly sure. Yeah, that's about it. I know what it is, but don't know exactly all the consequences.
Yeah, so what I have read, boys could be stuck in your head. So let's just be careful, and if anything weird happens, let me know. We'll go from there. And what did happen? You fed on someone, but you didn't. You, Aleha, right? Yeah, you took care of Aleha.
Me?
No, Giselle.
Among other things.
Care to clarify?
No, not really. I mean, you were there.
Yes, but I haven't been around so much in the last 8 weeks. So,
And a lot was happening at once, to be honest.
yeah, that too.
A lot was happening at once. Yeah, it was Aleha that we were worried about.
Okay.
She was dying, and it was a chance to, she fought really hard. And I figured she deserved a chance if she was willing to fight that hard.
I don't believe you. I feel like
What
you're
about
lying
it?
somewhere in all of that.
That's absolutely the truth. Aleha fought hard. She had taken care of us. She proved that she deserved to continue on. And so I made sure she did.
For all of the layers of cynicism and sarcasm that Giselle can lay down, this seems earnest. She speaks about Aleha with pride.
Okay. Fine. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to tell you. Didn't want to say that all like in private or in public with everybody. So, yeah.
So if you start hearing these voices, what happens with that? What's the outcome of that? What happens?
It's a good question.
Because good, bad, that's all bull. Like that's crap. Everything is good, everything is evil. Morality it's bullshit. Let's be clear on what actual consequences are here.
And when you say the word consequences, all three of you remember there were witnesses that night. The goals were outside. And all of you saw a familiar blonde head outside of the porthole windows.
We got rid of Sid before they could. Didn't we? We didn't?
Did.
I could have sworn we did.
You were a little distracted. All of you were.
So there's one loose end. Does anybody remember the blonde?
I thought we
Yeah.
took care of everything.
So did I. We're usually pretty good about that.
The blonde was Sid, right?
You suspect. None of you got a very good look at it.
Well, if Louis was going to Percival, there's an equal chance that he went to go find Sid too, because they were all buddy.
Maybe.
Carmina, in the dealings that you've had with Fiasco since then, you do infrequently communicate about the business that you two are working on together. This has never come up. Which Sid, being his right-hand man, feels a little off to you.
In a way that maybe Sid hasn't said something, or in a way that maybe Fiasco knows and isn't talking to me about it. Carmina wonders to herself.
How well do you think you know Fiasco?
I mean,
scale of 1 to 10.
Who really knows a person? I would say in business dealings, 6, 7.
Okay. Roll me charisma insight.
Okay. Three.
Okay. You think it's probably likely that someone like Fiasco holds on to secrets until they are most impactfully revealed.
Oh, I don't like that. That's my job. That's what I do.
That sucks.
It's very likely that Fiasco knows about this.
Oh?
Sid works for me to have to say something. But it's kind of worrying me that it has not come up.
Have you asked, maybe? Be a little bit
Not
more
really. But I mean, we could make pay a visit.
I mean, heck, you scared those police officers. Pretty sure you could do the same thing.
Police officers are one thing, but, you know.
Carmina, I know you. You're scary sometimes.
From the bottom of my heart, that is one of the best compliments you could ever give me. Yeah. But even so, this kind of vibe between us, I'm a little worried.
Giselle, roll me your wits and awareness. Wits or intelligence, whichever one is higher.
Crit, please. Ooh, that is a crit.
So remember that if you get 2 of those, they count as 4 successes.
Yes, that is what I mean by a crit. So that's
Cool.
So 7 successes.
7 successes. This timing is suspect. The fact that there was some explosion mishap. They called it a faulty gas line at a big fancy event downtown 2 weeks ago. It was a A-lister event. You had actually planned to attend, but decided you didn't want to try and be social that evening. 2 weeks after that, it just so happens that Peter Mayhew's brother gets assigned to a case that people knew was going to take him to La Palabra. Aleja disappears almost exactly the same time as that giant explosion. And now Luvi isn't here, and it seems Percival's gone off the grid.
Someone knows something. I'm not sure who, but someone knows something.
Well, the only other person who saw this was Sid, or someone who looked like Sid.
That we know of.
And with that, Raina, the door to your office swings open and completely filling the door frame, blocking out all of the light and sound from the club, stands a man who's got to be pushing 7'5", built like a brick shithouse, huge muscle-bound man, wearing a stained white tank top and slacks, but they're kind of greasy and dirty. And he looks directly at you, Carmina. Mr. Benedict requests an audience. And that's where we're going to leave it this evening.
Oh, no.
So, first of all, I want to thank all of our viewers for hanging out for this first episode as we tiptoe back in. We did have to do just like a lot of ground laying this session, but now there's a lot of little sparkles of intrigue on the horizon. And of course, thank you to my wonderful players who jumped right back into it fearlessly and beautifully. I'm so happy to have this coterie back and to be able to torture you just a little bit more. Without further ado, until next week, I'd love to hear what else you guys have going on and where people can find you. Let's go in reverse order this time and start with Jen.
Yes. Hello. Thank you all so much for coming back and joining us again in Miami. My name is Jen Kretschmer. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp. You can find me streaming as DreamWisp Jen. I am an author, performer, creator. I do all sorts of things. I created the Accessibility and Gaming Resource Guide. I've written for D&D, Starfinder, Haunted West. I am also on Demiplane's Children of Erte, which is on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. On Demiplane RPG, which just released early access to their Vampire Nexus, which is a very cool thing. And that's me. That's where you can find me.
Cynthia, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Cynthancer or Instagram, Cynthia__Marie. I am doing a playtest for Marvel TTRPG coming out soon with GM Eliza Pearl. So check that out because it's a ton of fun. I get to be a superhero.
You're always a superhero to me.
Oh, thank you. Kind of quiet on the front because I'm actually writing some stuff that I'm excited to talk about soon. So stay tuned for that. And those of you who are going to be in the Los Angeles area this weekend, had a kind of a strange turn in schedule, but I'm modeling at AX, Anime Expo. So if anyone's at Anime Expo, I will be modeling somewhere around there. So yeah, there you have it.
Awesome. Nora, how about you? What do you have going on right now?
Well, you can find me at Neurological and all the things. I stream Monday nights with Realmsmith. We're on a break in between seasons, but Mondays we stream our Curse of Strahd campaign, Into the Mist, alternating with our Tides of Wildmount campaign. On Thursdays at 4 p.m., you can catch me playing Nahara on Black Dice Society on Dungeons & Dragons official channel. Also on Thursdays at 5 p.m., you can find me with Glass Cannon. We are doing that very long Masks of Nyarlathotep Curse of Call of Cthulhu campaign, which is really spooky and exciting. And today was the launch of my Idle Champions character, Nahara. So you could play, add me to your arsenal of D&D characters.
Nahara
That's so
and Lindrick
cool.
can adventure together.
Yay!
I'm so excited.
And I've been your storyteller this evening. My name is Diana D'Amico. You can find me on Twitter at D'Amico Diana because I love the mislead. I don't have a ton of other stuff going on right now stream-wise. I'm kind of quiet on that front, but I have a lot of cool projects that I'll be able to announce soon. And I just finished up. I'm actually really sad about this, guys. I finished up not only my Hunter campaign, the one I was running here on Play Renegade called Day Shift last week, but I finished up Desperate Measures with the Pod by Night crew yesterday with a very interesting ending that went 2 hours longer than we thought it was going to be. It's so good. Go check it out. That cast and crew is truly amazing. And yeah, you can find me here Wednesdays doing this for the next 10 weeks while we round out this season and figure out exactly how many threats these 4 poor vampires are going to have to deal with. Spoilers, it's a lot. Where season 1 was very much focused on the problems that are happening inside of La Palabra, this season we're going to kind of zoom out and take a much bigger look at the Miami Kindred landscape. Something that these 4 are probably right now completely unaware of. And I just can't wait to toss them in the deep end and watch them splash around. As we dive right back into the nightlife, please come back and hang out with us next Wednesday when we figure out who this gargantuan man is and what Mr. Benedict wants with Carmina. We'll see you guys then.